Thanks very much for that. Yes, there has been a very important development in Wockhardt, something which we told our viewers on the 2nd of June. Wockhardt today announced a tie-up for vaccine with Sputnik V and also Enso Healthcare. And the stock market is really liking that announcement. The stock is gaining by 8%. This is something which Mr. Khorakiwala had hinted towards, but the details of which we would be discussing with him right now. Mr. Khorakiwala, thank you so much for your time and congratulations on this tie-up. Talk to us about, I mean, I remember when we broke the story, there was some hints around it that you're working not only in direction of Sputnik V, but also other global companies. Now that it's out in the open, talk to us about the nature and the scope of the announcements which have been made this morning.
Good morning to you and to all the viewers. This is an arrangement where we would be having manufacturing Sputnik V, which has a two component. There are two different vaccines there. And also Sputnik Light, which they've recently introduced. So we have committed to supply by June 22 something of the order of 70 to 120 million doses. And thereafter, we will supply another 500 million doses in the next 1 year, subject to various conditions of the agreement arrived between us. This we would be manufacturing in our Aurangabad biotechnology facility. And one of the manufacturing facility of biotech, we have repurposed for this very purpose. We have actually completed tech transfer of a GMP facility up to pilot level. And these are under quality clearance as far as the component 1 is concerned, and that is Sputnik Light. The other one will get completed over a period of time, and we will start production from January onwards and supply about up to 120 million doses by June 22.
Right. Mr. Khorakiwala, can you explain to us the potential, of this arrangement's impact on your financials? I'm not looking for any specific numbers, but what kind of realization would you make, say 2 to 3 year period? What kind of cash flows can this generate for the company?
It will generate a very significant part of our cash flow, because all we have to do is to manufacture and supply the product. And the only thing is we have to carry inventory in process. And the payment is due as soon as the products are approved. And we believe it would have a very significant cash flow impact on our bottom line. And as a result, we hope that we could be wiping out all our debts in next up to 3 years' time and still have cash for our other growth requirements.
Right. So if you could just update us with the latest numbers, if you have, if we are not wrong, 1,800 crores is the current debt. How much would you realize? How much can you confident of in next 2 to 3 years? Because I am assuming the full impact of this will happen in FY23. So 23 to 25 period, how much are you confident of reducing the debt by? And the residual cash flow, what would you aim at utilizing that?
See, we are doing a number of activities, all would help in improving our cash flow. And if you have noticed that in last 1 year, we have reduced our debt by 1,000 crores. So I believe that during 2023 itself, it will be further reduced. And thereafter, I think we might be sitting on a cash.
Okay. So for a moment, let's come back to this, the tie-up which you've done. You are aiming at starting January onwards. What stage is it in? And we also understand that you are also in discussion with some other global companies for, around vaccine manufacturing as well. Can you tell us the status of that and what exactly would your role be in that?
I think it is too early stages for discussion. because we are discussing with number of companies with various possibilities and having different kind of technologies. We are also looking at some companies having a second generation vaccines. So from that context, it's a very early stage. And if something materializes, it will take its own time because it would be in a clinical trial and so on and so forth. But that is a medium-term approach we are having.
Right. Mr. Khorakiwala, just wondering, because it is being discussed in the circles in the market as well, how long is this vaccine opportunity? Do you think this is ebbing? Because at a very sharp, accelerated pace, citizens across the world are actually getting vaccinated. Do you think this is a recurring opportunity? Once that the preliminary vaccinations are over, then there would be a requirement of booster doses every few years. Can you tell us, with your experience and the work you may have done with your team, how long is this vaccine opportunity, and is the best spurt period in demand over, and from here it will be a steady demand?
There are two things we have to recognize. Okay, we are going through a pandemic situation, and the pandemic can be only managed. I use the word managed if everyone in the world gets vaccinated. As long as a portion of population are not vaccinated, the spread of virus will continue, mutation will continue. Even thereafter, there would be a need to do a preventive maintenance. See, a flu vaccine, simple flu vaccine, which is not pathogenically as deadly as this one, but in Western countries, it is required to be taken every year. So we believe that this is not a short-term approach. Okay, once the pandemic goes away, everything will be fine. I think we will be living in a new world. We do not know what extent the mutation will take place, but even after mutation takes place, comes the regular vaccination would be necessary for the movement of people worldwide. So in other words, this is a very long-term situation, and these are not few years situation, in other words.
Sure. Mr. Khorakiwala, I was just looking at my back of the envelope calculations. Even if you start the work in January, in the next 12 to 18 months, some analysts believe that 1,200 to 1,500 crore could be the incremental cash flows purely from vaccine-related work coming to Wockhardt. If we assume part of that would be utilized to reduce debt, which you're also guiding towards, would you still be having reasonable amount of cash 24 months far out? And is that correct, as some of the analysts believe that that money would be utilized in drug discovery business in the US? If you could give us some early color on that.
As far as our cash flow is concerned, whatever back of the envelope number you have done, it would be there. Maybe it may be better than that. Or we will also have a cash flow coming out of our business. Second, our drug discovery, all are entering phase 3 clinical trial. And what we require is over next 2 years, 2.5 years, the investment. And that investment is quite not that significant at this point in time. But and I think we should be able to meet that investment also in addition to reducing the debt.
Right. So just one quick word before we let you go. You're looking at domestic opportunity for COVID vaccines or a combination of exports as well as domestic?
Actually, our current arrangement is as a contract manufacturing organization and not a marketing organization. So all we have to do is to manufacture the product and hand it over to them. They will distribute the product wherever they would like to do.
Right. All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and telling us all the details. This clearly appears to be a very meaningful development for the company, and no wonder why the stock market is so happy about it.